Welcome. Good noon. Welcome to our weekly spiritual spa, your Sunday spiritual indulgence, we like to call it. We're here to help you feel better if you're feeling fine, and help you feel even better if you're not feeling quite so fine. Our whole idea is to connect you with your own understanding of spirit and to increase your ability to change your life by changing your mind. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, used to open his television show with the words, "There is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it." He was right. He was right. But I think it is also true that you can't not use it. In fact, you're using it all the time, whether you know it or not, because it is done unto you as you believe. The important part, maybe, of Dr. Holmes' admonition was to remember to use it for good. That its natural tendency is that, and if you support that by recognizing the power and using it to create good in your life, well, things are going to change, and they're going to change for good. So I'm going to ask you to go within for a minute and consider this idea. Just think on this. We are here to remember who we are. We are children of creation. We are here to remember that we are created in the image and likeness of creation itself, of God, if you prefer to call it that. Oh dear. The dogs always get excited when I say that.
The G word. Well, dog is God spelled backwards.
It is indeed, and they know it.
You're talking to them.
Yes. We are here to heal our misconceptions and to release whatever beliefs may no longer be serving us. We are here to awaken and then to inspire, to uplift, to heal, and to make whole our families, our friends, our world, and ourselves. We are here to learn how to use our divine inheritance to make our lives and our world a better place. And we can do that. If that thought resonates with you at all, if you think maybe that's a possibility you'd like to look into, well, stick with us. We are here on Sundays at noon and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And we're here for you. I'd like you to listen to these words, and if they resonate, repeat after me. Centered in spirit, I know that there is a creative, motivating power in the universe. A power for good. It is the intelligence and the action and the love back of all of creation. And it is the life within me. I know it. I feel it. I believe it. And I accept it. And so it is. Great. Great. So, here's something to think about. What would it take for you to realize that you really could create really could manifest your heart's desire, hmm? What would it take? What would have to happen in your life? What would have to get through your brain? What would have to inspire you sufficiently to actually realize that you have the tools to create your heart's desire? Hmm? Think on that. And what do you think of that? Are you ready to create your heart's desire? Are you ready to change your mind so that you can change your life? Are you willing to do what it takes, which sometimes includes setting aside your disbelief, to have the life of your dreams? The words in scriptures say, I believe, God, help thou my unbelief. And we all have a certain amount of unbelief, a certain amount of stuff that gets in the way of us just saying, this could be easy. This could not be an impossible thing. I might really be able to create my heart's desire simply by changing my mind, changing my beliefs. They all got in there. Babies aren't born with a whole set of beliefs. They aren't. They get poured in. Some of them are great. Some of them are great. If you had parents who poured in, you can do anything, you are magnificent, you are happy, you are healthy, well, yay! Yay! But if you had parents who were frightened or didn't understand their own power, or for whatever their reason simply didn't pour those you are great ideas into your head, and then sometimes those ideas are perpetuated by others, perpetuated by, good grief, what is going on here? And how do I stop it? It's gonna be one of those days. Okay, tech department just got it, so I can stop worrying about it. If you didn't have the support that helps you create the idea that you can do anything, then you've come to the right place. Because we believe you can do anything. That you have the power, and that you have the wisdom, and that you have the universe at your back. But you gotta believe it. So stick around for a while. I'm gonna check in with everybody and see how we're doing. And then I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. So don't go away. Brenda, hi. How you doing, sweetheart? I am very glad that you're here. How are you feeling? How are the miracles going? How are things moving in your life? I hope they are doing very, very well. Now just stay with me. Let's see what happens. So I think I would like to talk about what I want to talk about. Do you mind? Probably not. I'm going to assume that's why you came. So let's just see. It's been an interesting week technologically, and in life in general. My new computer is back at the shop. My old computer is set back up again, but we made some changes when we transferred, and I'm hitting some challenges. So hopefully I'll stay with you if you stay with me. If I go away, go out and come back in again, and because that happened last week. Just close out and then come back around again and I'll be back up. I don't think I will. I think we fixed that problem, but hang in there with me, would you? I'm glad you're working on the miracles, Brenda. That's my girl. You just keep that work up. So here we are. It's August already. Hard to believe, isn't it? August. I mean, the year's more than half over. I'm still catching up. But that's all right. It's August and, excuse me, every year about this time, well, my thoughts tend to turn to the remembrance of a place I visited every August for over 2 decades, probably. First, I was there as a student, then as a teacher. First as a congregant, and then as a minister. And then as an event producer and an organizer and as a workshop leader. And it was grand. Oh, it was really grand. Some of you know, because you've been there, that the place was called Asilomar. And the event was the annual religious science gathering of ministers and congregants and interested people. The place itself is amazing. It is one of God's most creative endeavors. It's a state park nestled between the mighty Pacific and an ancient forest. And there are sand dunes and deer, and when we were there, several hundred people embarking on a spiritual journey. The combination is magical. And because of the energy there, it is also a real vortex of human creativity and a place of spiritual demonstration and manifestation. The most famous symbol of the place is its huge stone gates that feel almost out of time. And appropriately it is in many ways, for those on a spiritual journey at least, a gateway to heaven. Or it certainly was that for the time that it was filled with metaphysicians, and the most amazing things seemed to manifest there. Whatever one wanted to create, a mask, a poem, a relationship, a business plan, or a plan for your entire life, it all seemed to come together there so easily. Or things were put into motion in what I can only describe as a divine process that played out in real time in one's life after being at Asilomar. I have my own amazing miracle stories, and I think most of you have heard them, so I'm not going to go into all of that right now, except to say that I wouldn't be here now doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't have spent the last 3 decades doing what I have been doing if it weren't for my August visits to Asilomar. For those of you that haven't heard the stories, I can tell you that being at Asilomar helped me decide to go to ministerial school, helped me decide which school to go to, which changed everything for me, and then in a really big way helped me finish that schooling and jumpstart my ministry. It really is a great story, or series of stories, since it took place over 2 years and 2 visits to Asilomar. And I promise I will tell the stories again someday, but not today. Today, I'm remembering. I'm remembering that when you were at Asilomar, or whether you were simply at home remembering, whether you wanted to create a song or a poem or a new life or a whole new world, I learned that the principle remained the same. And even though I haven't been to Asilomar in nearly a decade, I know that it still does, and the principle always remains the same. The creative process begins with an idea. Anyone's idea. Your idea, my idea, the world's idea. A hope, a dream, an inspiration, an urge. And once believed in, that idea begins to take form in the infinite. And then it requires action. Action in physical form. People used to say, treat, which is to pray, and move your feet. Remember that a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And then that stimulates action in spirit. The law responds to what? To your mind, to your beliefs, to what you are claiming. Which leads me to the point I'd really like to make. The creative process is in you. And whatever it is you're trying to create, that requires action both in mind and in fact. Now, what that looks like is not just pretty words. Wouldn't it be nice if, or gee, I'd like to be, what, rich, successful, peaceful, happy, loved? For those of us who still require skis in order to walk on water, or who do not glow in the dark, the mental action that makes all things new looks like we have to move both our minds from one mode of thinking to another, and our bodies. We have to step up the ladder of consciousness to the next level. I suspect that's what Einstein was talking about when he said that we couldn't solve a problem with the same thinking that caused it. We can't create love or a job or health with the same thinking that created the emptiness or the lack of a job. Ladders, or at least the concept of stepping up, keep showing up in discussions about consciousness, and there's a reason for that. We have to step up. Maslow's ladder, his hierarchy of being, talked about physiological needs, safety needs, relational needs, and then appreciation and self-actualization. It was a ladder. Moses' ladder was all about starting with the idea of God and then getting into a spiritual community and then honoring your ancestors, honoring those around you, and then not doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't work in the world. And then you'll be self-actualized. Jesus added one more step, incidentally, to Moses' ladder, for those that weren't good at catching the subtleties. Love one another. The ladder to your dreams, the path to the creation of your personal heaven on earth, the path to releasing all of your unique, wonderful, life-changing creativity has been right there within you all along. But for those who still don't see it, for those who still think it has to be difficult, for those who still think that someone or something else is standing in the way of creating your dream, standing in the way of your magnificence, I'm adding one more rung to the ladder. Oh, all of the other stuff still applies. The 2,000-year-old plus advice is still very good. You gotta love God. It's going to be easier if you create a spiritual community. It's going to be richer if you know where you've come from and honor that. It's going to work much better if you don't do a bunch of stuff that doesn't work in the world. And it's going to be a whole lot more fun if you can share it. And you'll have lots of people to share it with if you love one another. But if you really want it to work, here's the step that will seal it for you. Whatever it is that you think is standing in your way, get over it. Just get over it. The little things, certainly. The bad service, the cold food, the long line, the heavy traffic. You aren't going to make any of it better by getting upset by it. Get over it. The medium grade stuff, absolutely. The bad moods, the not good enough office, the not high enough raise. In time, this too shall pass. Things will change. Get over it. But even more importantly, the big things, the betrayal. Okay, so they did do it to you. But by carrying it in your heart and your mind, you are now doing it to yourself. How is that a good thing? Ever? Get over it. The failure, yours, theirs, it doesn't matter in the long run. It's done. It's over. It's past. The big mistake. In the grand scheme of your life, it has only become big. It has only become grand because you keep inflating it. Get over it. The sin. Okay, so you did it, whatever it was. If God is big enough to forgive and forget, shouldn't you be? Here's the important part. Did you learn anything from it? Are you more understanding? Are you wiser? Are you more loving? Are you more forgiving because of it? Got it? Get over it. Get on with your life. You can't create in a vacuum. When you carry around resentments and angers and old fears and guilt, you create a vacuum, and that vacuum will suck the life out of that life of yours. We are meant to be at play in the creative fields of God. You are meant to be a creative genius. You want to change your life? You want to create joy, music, art, love, peace? A cure for cancer? Yours or everyone's? Then get over the other stuff and get on with your creative life. For years at Asilomar, Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, gave the Saturday morning address in the beautiful chapel there. It was traditionally called Sermon by the Sea. His final address at Asilomar was delivered on August 15th, 1959. You can do the math if you want. 69, 79, 89, 99, 109, 119. 52 years ago. In that address, he said this: "It would be wonderful indeed if a group of persons should arrive on earth who were for something and against nothing. This would be the summum bonum of human organization, wouldn't it?" Now, in the interest of transparency, I will admit to some paraphrasing from this point on. But stay with me. Find me one person who is over it. Over betrayal, over resentment, over the past, and on target for the future. One person who is for something and against nothing. Who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul. And I will find another Savior, another Creator, and an exalted human being. Find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe, or God, or man, or of anything else, and you will have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sunlight. Find me someone who has given away all the resentment he has held with love, and I will have found the lover of my soul, because he will have revealed to me the nature of God and proved to me the possibility of all human souls. Find me one person who can get his own littleness out of the way, and he shall reveal to me the immeasurable magnitude of the universe in which I live and the possibility inherent in that. Find me one person who knows how to talk to God really, and I shall walk with him through the woods, and everything that seems inanimate will respond. The leaves of the trees will clap their hands, and grass will grow soft under him. Find me one person who communicates with cause and effect, and the evening star will sing to him, and the darkness will turn to light. And what, I wonder, might we see in that light? Through this one I shall be healed of all loneliness forever. Find me one person who is no longer sad, and I shall hear laughter. Find me one person who has so completely divorced himself from all arrogance, and you will have discovered for me an open pathway to the kingdom of God here and now. These people, he said, exist in us all. They are different attributes, qualities of our soul. Not just through me, but you to me and I to you through each other. We may touch the hem of the garment of God, of creation, and we may recreate our worlds. And we will go back into our homes and offices and relationships of our lives with something so great that never again will you or I or anything be quite the same. Bring me 100 people who really know what this thinking is all about. And don't just talk about it, but live it. And we'll all live to see a new world, a new heaven, and a new earth. Here's my question. Are you willing to be one of those people? There is a cosmic power that is equal to the vision which loosens it. There is a law that backs up that vision, and the law is immutable. There is a power that transcends our frustrations, our momentary needs, and our little wants. Be one of the people who know that, and use it, and you will be one of the most creative people on earth. There is something beyond anything that you and I have yet touched, but for which we must never stop reaching. Are you willing to reach with me? How important it is that each one of us, in our own simple and unique way, shall live from God to God, with God, in God, and with and to each other. And then together, we will help to create a world in which the miraculous becomes the everyday. I had just, I thought, finished making notes for today's talk when I noticed that the daily word was right next to me, and I opened it and found this. Yesterday's daily word. Saturday, August 14th, 2021. With God, I can truly do anything. If someone were to tell me that my goal is unreasonable, I would simply smile, because I know a deeper truth. When I believe in the divine power within me, all things are not only reasonable, but achievable. My faith is not shaken by what other people think or say. I keep my spiritual vision focused on moving toward my highest good. No matter where I am in life, it is always possible for me to move beyond present appearances to something better. What once might have been unimaginable is now firmly within my grasp. Realizing my true potential comes from believing in the divine presence within me. Because with God, all things are possible. The inspiration for those words came from Mark 10:27. Jesus looked at them and said, "For mortals it is impossible, but not for God. For God, all things are possible." I think it is only appropriate that in honor of his anniversary of his final sermon at Asilomar, I will let Ernest have the last word. Because I know that what he said then is as true now. And that this space that we are in is as capable of creating miracles as is that beautiful place in Northern California called Asilomar. Ernest ended his last sermon by the sea with these words. That is why we are here. That is why we are here. So that we can immerse ourselves in it, permeate ourselves with it, fill our lives with vision and inspiration, with something tangible, something beyond hope and a longing, so that the living Spirit of God shall, through us, walk anew into its own creation, into you, into me, and here, in the silence of our own souls, create its heart's desire. In the silence of your own soul, Spirit creates its heart's desire. And so it is. Hi, Dana. How are you feeling? How is John? Keep me up to date. It's been an interesting week. I hope your week has been interesting as well. The tech goblins have been challenging. So I'm going to ask the question again. What would it take, do you think, for you to realize that you really can create your heart's desire? What would it take to move you to that place that you could accept that thought and live from it? That you could accept that thought and then repeat it so often that you couldn't help but believe it. See, I think the idea that with God all things are possible is wonderful, but I'm not entirely sure that we always believe that we are with God or that God is with us. Because if we did, well, we'd be doing it, wouldn't we? All the time. Now, I know that some of us have done it some of the time. Oh, there's a whole thing in there somewhere, isn't there, about all of the people, some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time. I'll have to work on it. There's a talk in there for sure. But what would it take for us to be more faithful, more faith-filled, more aware all of the time? There are so many things in our life, I know, that at one point we thought we couldn't do, and then we learned how to do it, and now we do it without even thinking. Which is not always wise, but nonetheless we do it without even thinking, because it has become so much a part of us and a part of our belief system. What would it take for us to be equally convinced of the presence of God within us? God, right here where I am, within me, little old me, with all of my challenges and all of my screw-ups and all that stuff I feel bad about, with all of that, to awaken to the idea that God is right here where we are right now, always, and that we can create the life of our dreams. That we can heal our bodies, that we can bring peace to our minds, that we can change our activities, that we can attract only good. What would it take? What would it take? We have work to do. Are you willing to do it? I still have my little sign up there just above the Les Mis thing that says, please mind your head. Minding your head, that's the secret. Repeating over and over again, I can, regardless of what things look like. We're so busy telling ourselves I can't. Let's just drop the T. It's not a big deal. I can, I can, I can, I think I can, I think I can. I get the little engine did it. If the little engine can do it, you can do it. I know how powerful you are. Get on it. Okay, I'm checking on the update here. John's out of the hospital and just waiting to get the specialist. Okay. Oh, good, he's going to UCLA. Oh, yay. My favorite ever doctor was at UCLA. They'll find out what's going on. They'll find out. So if we leave UCLA to discover what's going on with John and heal him, then all we have to deal with is his mother's anxiety. Peace. Peace. Faith in the presence of God. Within John, within the doctors, the presence of God, the wisdom, the healing power of the universe, right there, right now. No separation, no distance, no nothing. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. God's right there, and God is as present, because God can pull this off, as present within John and the doctors and anybody necessary, the lab techs, as God is present within John's mother and Brenda. The presence of the ultimate stuff. See, if you start doing that, eventually what you get around to is having to let go of the idea of the anthropomorphized God, the guy sitting on the throne, which I know we kind of don't, we do and we don't have. We're split on this, most of us, because we learned as a child about God, and then we didn't put away childish things. And so on one hand, we believe that it is a power and a presence, and on the other hand, we believe that it is sort of a glorified person, and that it's up there, separate. Within, 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 and all around about. That's what makes it God. It can do and be greater than we are. That's what makes it God. I love these little people. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So, let's pray. I'm just kind of in a mood to do that. Let's pray. Let's take a minute. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just soft focus or find something beautiful, peaceful to stare at, whatever that is for you. And know with me that you are never alone. God is where you are, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you have done or not done, still. The creative, motivating force of the universe, that which we call God, but which is so much more than any name we can give it, waits within each one of us to create the life of our dreams. Waits to heal, to make whole, to bring peace, to transform, to transmute the dust into stardust. Waits for us to believe, to set aside our childish thoughts, our fears, our belief that the power of the universe would hold anything against us. or that our past has any power to change our future. In this moment, we believe. In this moment, we acknowledge the presence and the power and the workings of creation all around about us and deeply within each one of our lives. And in this moment, it begins to change things, to heal, to fill the voids, to answer the prayers, to bring peace to our minds and love to our hearts, strength to our bodies, and to return our bodies and our minds and our lives to the original blueprint which still shows itself in our dreams and our desires. We are made whole in this moment. There's nothing to wait for. There is only that which is to be revealed, and it will be. It is now revealing. And we are at peace. We are emboldened. We are healed. We are strong. We are creative. And we are in this moment changing our lives, which in its turn will change the world. And I am so deeply grateful for the power of creation that moves in me, as me, and through me, in you, as you, through you, to create a better life and a better world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. In this day, we have gotten over that which held us back, that which minimized our magnificence. And we stand now on the threshold of tomorrow, knowing who we are, knowing what we are, and claiming the presence of God within us. In deepest gratitude, we simply let it be so, knowing there is nothing to stop it. We believe and we accept, and so it is.
And so it is.
We have a closing song. Thank you, music department. And thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. Thank you for accepting a change for good in your life. There is a power for good in the universe, and you are using it. And so it is. Don't forget to listen to the closing song. I'll see you on Wednesday. Go with God. You can go no other way.